Welcome to the G.N.A podcast, Games, Nerds, and Vaporizers, where we let Gravemind vape the entire show and then edit it out later on in life.
You know, I could take his place and vape in the entirety without muting myself.
Oh, please, for the love of God, no. Oh.
Only if you've got a turbo on that thing.
Yeah, it's got to be full on, like we got to hear that thing spin up when you go to take a hit off it.
Yeah, no, that's not turbo enough.
Not the same? Oh, okay.
No, it's not turbo. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be.
I want to hear this thing go.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't have anything like that.
When you hit it, I want to hear a at the end where the turbo releases.
No, I'm not that addicted to nicotine.
Well, if you haven't heard them already, we've got Blueshark, we've got Co. We're going to chill out. We're going to talk some bunch. Because why not? How are you gentlemen doing tonight? Anyone can start. It's okay.
I'll go ahead and start then. That's just being nice. It's gonna have. I was gonna have Co go, but Jesus is my savior. The freaking issues that I've had with Ned have just like ruined my evening for a little bit. But everything's working and I'm doing better.
Well, hurrah! Because I like it when things work. Things not working, no bueno.
Never good.
What about you, Co? How are you doing tonight, man?
I've been doing pretty good. I had off the day, played some Black Desert and some of the new Call of Duty patch since it's released, and having fun.
Nice, very nice. I just realized I don't think I have my camera going, and I'm an idiot. That's about how my day has been going, to be perfectly honest.
Just being an idiot.
My day started off okay, and I don't want to bitch. I don't want to really complain, but God, it went downhill from there. I got a message from a longtime friend, a person who I really like. They had a much different thought process than me, and I loved that because I love having people with contrary opinions around because it makes me think. You know, if I just have people that just agree with me all the time, it's boring. You know, it's like talking to a wall, really, because you know it's like an echo chamber. You just start talking out and you get the same shit regurgitated back, and it just that doesn't interest me at all. So I always like to surround myself with people who have different thought processes or different opinions. Maybe not necessarily every single opinion differently, but at least enough different.
Wait, you're sounding like you're me.
Well, ironically, that's why I keep you over. No, I'm joking. No, but I mean, you can agree or disagree with me, and that's all right. But I find people with opposite opinions much more. Or different opinions much more interesting.
Oh yeah, because you argue your points versus saying, "Oh yeah, that's pretty cool," and then that's the end of the conversation.
Well, not only can you. I don't want to necessarily say argue the points, but you can discuss the points. You know, like two adults, two human beings, and it not be. You know, when you find those people that you can discuss points with, and at the end, even if you ended up screaming at each other because you were both so passionate about what the point was. At the end of it, you still sit down and have a beer, and you're like, all right, let's throw something on.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to. Like when your argument, in terms of like debate speech, your argument, not so much as arguing and yelling at someone. It might get heated.
Yeah. And I enjoy that. And this person was always had a really different point of view. Came from a much different walk of life than me. And I always enjoyed and deeply respected their opinions. Even though I didn't agree with them. Often didn't agree with them. And something shifted from like back on November, I think I'm guessing it had to shift sometime between November 20th and now. Because November 20th, the last message we had was, hey man, if you need me, message me, text me, smoke signal, something, just bring a fire extinguisher. And I'm like, was like, thanks. You know, I've been going through a really rough time lately. So, you know, I can understand being my friend is difficult right now. But, yeah, I mean, that was where we left it, and just reaching out, saying hi, and he just kind of stopped responding, and I'm like, oh crap. And at first I was super, super worried. Like, I literally started reaching out to people that he may have talked to and be like, hey, have you heard from this guy? Because I haven't, and I'm worried. And I know that he had moved recently, so I don't even know if I could send somebody to his house because I didn't have his house address. And then I get a message from him today that was incredibly long, and it seemed like he had a lot to get off of his chest. So, I kind of read it and I was like, well, okay, that seemed to have been brewing for a while. I just kind of, just responded back as best I could. I didn't respond back. When you first get something and you're like, oh, I got to respond back to this because this is pissing me off. And then you're like, no, that's not the best time to respond back to something because it's pissing you off. So I kind of just chilled out for a bit, waited, and, formulated a response back. And I was just like, hey, sounds like you're on a journey. I hope you find wherever you're trying to get to. Hope when you get to the end of it that you give me a call and you go, hey, what's up? How's it hanging? And, go on from there. But, he went into a lot of different things, like about my mom dying and stuff. And I was just like, I was confused about most of it. I'm assuming he was using text to speech, but that was about the only thing I had. But yeah, my day was kind of shitty because, I just found out I lost somebody I held as a really good friend. So I'm kind of sad, but that's not why we're here, to listen to me be sad. We're here to find out what everybody's drinking.
Well, I'm sorry for your loss, bud.
I appreciate that. But Blue, what are you drinking? And Jesus, Mary and Joseph, could you please put on a bigger shirt? Like, seriously, just go get one. You literally look like you're going to explode in that shirt. Did you literally just carb up before the show?
Dude, since we've moved the recording times to this early in the evening, I have no choice but to go from the gym to here without taking a shower or anything. I haven't even had dinner yet. So yeah, this is like the dry wicking stuff I wear when I work out. Usually. Sometimes I actually wear a t-shirt.
I mean, Jesus Christ, I can see your nipples. I mean, through your vintage VHS filter.
The most useless thing on me. But anyway, moving away from my nipples, I'm drinking a White Claw hard seltzer, natural lime. It's 100 calories, 5% alcohol, gluten-free. Leftover from a party this weekend, and probably drinking them because I had a talk with the doctor on Monday, and I need to find some way to cut down on carbs.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I've been eating too much of the carbs, the energy and stuff. I need to find ways to make protein more readily accessible in the household so I don't grab carbs. And, I got to cut that down to fix some blood work numbers.
Cashews. Lots of cashews. And peanuts.
Dude, I love cashews.
Yeah.
See, now I love peanuts, but I don't know. Since moving to Virginia, I've literally been spoiled. I fucking love, and I mean love with I would marry them if I could, Virginia style peanuts. Like the big peanuts that are deep fried and they're so fucking crunchy. Oh,
I don't know Virginia style peanuts, and I've lived here for 25 years.
What the fuck?
Can't say I've heard of that.
Oh my God. You guys are getting this. In the next random package of shit from my house that I send you guys, you are getting these. Virginia style peanuts. They're literally they're when you get the Planters peanuts, the dry roasted peanuts in the fucking jar or whatever. And they're like the size of a really erect female nipple.
Okay.
You know the ones I'm talking about? Okay. We'll triple the fucking size of that. And then make them super crunchy, like just the crunchiest you can possibly get, like crunchy peanut butter crunchy. Like, the crunchy bits of the peanut butter, like those, like that. But a whole peanut of that. and then put it in a big fucking 16-ounce mug of them and just like grab handfuls, shove them into your face and die happy.
I'll have to find them sometime because I've never heard of Virginia-style peanuts.
Yeah, neither have I. Sounds interesting.
I am not only disappointed, but I am also scared for all of life and
I
humanity.
live in Florida, dude.
Dude, I lived in New York and I got them. I didn't realize how good they were until I moved down here, though, and I could literally get them all the time.
Honestly. I mean, I've never really... I don't know, boiled peanuts... Almonds, walnuts.
Almonds are good. I like almonds.
Well,
there's these cocoa dusted almonds that are fantastic.
Yeah. Not what I need to be eating, but yes.
Well, no, but they actually have no carbs to them. They're literally the cocoa powder, and they're dusted on the almonds. I'll see if I can track them down and get them.
Emeralds?
I don't know that they're emeralds.
Okay.
There was some gourmet shit I found forever ago. They're really good. Anyhow. I think we're missing here. So, Co, what are you drinking?
I'm currently partaking in Viking's Blood Mead.
Ooh.
It's delicious. It's tasty.
Ooh. I am, I am a big fan of mead. Mead is one of those, like, all-around yummies. Always are good.
I have to say, it's a sipper though, because it's a thick mead.
Ooh, yeah, but that's what makes it so good.
Oh, it is delicious.
Hands down, 100%. That mead that we had at Medieval Times, while it wasn't nearly as thick, it was good, but it flowed so easy.
That one's dangerous. I actually prefer that one more than the Viking's Blood, but we can't get that out of state, so.
I know. We got to figure out a way to get our hands on that. Because that's some good shit. Well, I am super lame. I am drinking Sprite Zero Sugar. So a Sprite Zero. And it is, it's actually kind of crisp, refreshing. I've given up caffeine. Well, I say I've given up caffeine. So I gave up caffeine last week, Monday or Tuesday. But yesterday, I literally was falling asleep at my desk, so I had half of a purple monster yesterday. But I haven't had anything since, and my endeavor is to continue to give up caffeine.
Nice.
Why don't you just move to, like, coffee or tea and get away from the energy drinks?
Because I'm trying to get rid of caffeine in general. Not necessarily energy drinks. Just get rid of caffeine.
More sleep.
I bet you're... well, you know what? I've done this before and I haven't slept at all. It was more of a cost efficiency thing. Water is a hell of a lot cheaper, and having a Sprite Zero a day or a can of ginger ale a day, a lot more cost effective than like 2 energy drinks, 5 Pepsi Maxes or Pepsi or Coke Zeros or whatever I was drinking. So just, and I don't seem to miss it. Granted, I don't seem to be all that sane, but.
Which number do you hit when you dial into the sanitarium?
Let me think about these. I gotta go over them in my head. If you're obsessive compulsive, please press 1 repeatedly. If you're codependent, have somebody else press 2. If you're schizophrenic, press 3, 4, 5, and 6. If you're manic depressive, doesn't matter which number you hit because nobody's gonna answer. If you're paranoid delusional, just stay on the phone. We know who you are and what you want and where you live. We're gonna track you and get you here. I don't know. I'll probably just mash the buttons like King Kong mashing a tank. Just and I'll probably scream while doing it too. I'll be like, oh, but man, this week's been it's been a hell of a week. there has been so many ups and downs. Cyberpunk. I got to throw the big fucking elephant in the room right out there. Cyberpunk has man, it has taken spotlight front and center, and not in the best of ways.
No, no, it has not.
Man, and watching you play it, Co, I was like, I saw a couple of minor glitches that didn't they didn't bother me so much. Like that car that was flipped over, standing on its nose. I was like, well, that's kind of a funny glitch. I'm okay with that. That's kind of fun. Even when you park the car underneath the cop car, and it was doing its little jittery jump seizure thing. I'm like, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But you had some weird ones.
The game actually went downhill after that day. More and more. The more I played, the more concerned I was about the game just entirely corrupting my save. I mean, I had gone from small minor glitches like objects floating in midair or car physics breaking in midair and whatnot, like we had seen and you had mentioned, to just full blown game breaking bugs, teleporting across the world, falling through the world, infinite HP, getting stuck in menus without being able to do anything unless I Alt F4'd the game on many, many occasions. Dialogue not playing the audio was a big one. It lasted for I think maybe 20 or so missions where there was just no audio. Yeah. I heard, okay, let me rephrase that. There was no audio for the NPCs, but for the main character, V, there was audio. I mean, the list could keep going on, but yeah.
I mean, we only have an hour show here, so we got to cut it off somewhere.
For a game in 10 years of development, and even with the 3 additional times they had pushed it back, it is nowhere near ready for launch. And when they finally fix it all, I still don't think it's a good game.
Really? I'm intrigued, because the one thing that people have been saying, even the people who have been complaining about the bugs, which I'm in a bunch of Discords and there's been a lot of people playing it, strangely enough. Even the people who are playing it that are complaining about so many bugs are still saying that it's a fun game and compels them to still play. That's an interesting thing,
but I think when you look back at it in hindsight, if you look at what they've touted over the years and what they're doing and developing or implementing into the game, none of that really had shown to fruition. For example, quests that would appear to be time gated, where you would never see those missions again, they don't exist. There's not a single mission in the game where you can't complete because there's some sort of butterfly effect where if you do this one action, something else in the world, ceases to exist. Or if you don't go to this location at a certain period of time, the actions already happen and there's already an outcome there. That doesn't exist in the game. It's a pretty straightforward, large scale version of Deus Ex. And if you enjoy that, when I do, it's Deus Ex. But the overall story is very, very straightforward. And you already know the ending, the first 20 minutes of the gameplay, and how it's going to finalize.
Yeah, don't give that away. But I'm after the show, I might ping you, because from what I was watching, I kind of had an idea of where it was going. But I was like,
I mean, there is a kind of a plot twist. I'm not going to say anything that's going to reveal any spoilers, but the overarching scenario is pretty much the same, in a general sense.
All right.
So I'm not playing the game. I don't have the time to play this game. But from what I have seen of it, and again, this is a YouTube video. This is edited. This is, I'm sure this is not, even though he said he was live streaming it, I think what he was doing was he's live streaming a recording that he had prepared. But Little Gamers Playground, I was watching their game movie version of it. I did see some glitches. I'm only probably 2-3 hours into it at this point. I think it's a 14-hour recording. Story's somewhat interesting. wasn't expecting how Keanu's character was incorporated into it. But I will say this much. It's a slight spoiler. I like the ghost in the shell kind of concept that exists in this. But as far as falling short, is that really the only thing? Like the fact that they don't have those butterfly effect quests, like where you like if you do something you'll never see this quest pop up, or you only have so much time to do it. Like what's like the major thing that you feel like this game falls short with?
Well, I mean, as I've always had in discussions, it's about like depth of gameplay and in the systems involved in a game. So when I look at a game and I see, Cyberpunk, and they have all these alternating paths, whatnot. So that's the big bread and butter. That's what they're really trying to reinforce. And it's not typically for me because I'm not a big story guy. But I want to see like in-depth crafting systems or alternate things you can do in the world. And the game doesn't really offer you much at all to that. You have kill missions, you've got mini boss fights, you've got stealth missions where you just hack into a terminal, and you might have a few missions where you just go and collect a car and you deliver it to a garage. And that's about it. You have like 5 different types of missions. So it's just kind of shallow. It's a very shallow game, unfortunately, in my opinion.
And you were expecting this to be more of an actual like living, breathing world where all of your actions have consequences.
Yeah.
And you could literally turn this entire world for you or against you.
Yeah.
Depending on your... Okay.
And I mean, this story does have that in the long run, depending on which path you take and how much you actually explore the world. But when you realize the amount of NPCs you really need to talk to, it's not ever expanding, ever changing as much as they at least deemed it to be.
Would you say it's formulaic in the fact that you know how many NPCs you need to talk to?
Oh, absolutely. I believe it's formulaic with maybe one of 3 voice options, maybe a 4th one occasionally. So if you know which NPC you want to talk to, and you already know ahead of time what ending you're looking to go for, well, you just choose those options, and you just rinse and repeat that for that specific NPC, and the ending will show in that outcome for you. It's pretty straightforward.
So, would you say that they pulled a Hello Games
absolutely.
with the overpromise,
it's definitely way
underdeliver?
overhyped for what it is. I mean, it's going to get Game of the Year, quite honestly. My opinion is definitely against a lot of people's opinions. Even if you take the bugginess out of the equation, people are going to love it. But yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm hearing a lot of, I had this happen. Oh, I had that happen, but I'm still playing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually heard a lot of, even though like people have been just outright saying, even though there's so many bugs, I still want to play this game. I still find myself playing it. It's like, well,
yeah,
hey, I mean, there's got to be something good there if they're constantly playing no matter what.
Is it a spoiler to tell you how many endings there are potentially in the game? Is that a spoiler to a conclusion, to a sense?
I don't consider
as long as you don't tell us
spoiler.
what
about you,
the endings are, I think telling us a number of endings isn't necessarily a spoiler.
All right.
But for anyone who wants to avoid it, spoiler.
Spoiler alert. There's essentially 6 endings. There's 5 main endings and then 1 really hidden ending. And in my single playthrough, I found 4 of the 6 endings. And the only reason I didn't do the last 2 is mainly because of my first options through the game, I have to essentially replay through the entirety of the game just to find out the last two options. And that's just not something I'm going to be willing to play because it's not a game that has a lot of replayability right now. It might change definitely down the road with some expansions, but I mean you'll get 3 different intros to the game, but the overall gameplay from there on out is identical up until the end with what choices you've made to the progress to that portion of the game. Does that make sense?
So it's not even as in depth as like the original Mass Effect, where you really had
a multitude
I'm not talking of endings that
Red,
you could
Green,
possibly
Blue.
get
The
to.
endings are a little more diverse than that.
Well, no, I don't mean Mass Effect 3. I mean the original Mass Effect, like the first Mass Effect, which had really a ton of different paths that you could take and a ton of different endings.
If I went and I played it back through again, I could probably do. I would imagine a speedrunner could easily do this game in under 10 hours. Even though they say it's a 25 to 30 hour gameplay playthrough, I did 90% of the game's content in 26 hours, including 4 endings.
Shit.
Yeah. So once you kind of realize the formula and how easy it is, which is another issue, is that the balancing specializations in that game, it needs a lot of work because there are certain specs in the game that essentially make it trivial, even on the hardest difficulty.
Yeah, that's significantly shorter than The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 was more than 20 hours, at least.
Yeah, The Witcher 3 also had like an insane amount of side quests that you could do. I mean, The Witcher 3 was kind of one of those games where you could get lost in the side quest, and just like in a Bethesda Elder Scrolls game, where
in Cyberpunk is like, in The Witcher, you go and explore like hidden locations and they have like secret puzzles in there. And in Cyberpunk, there really isn't much of that. It's copy paste. And I'll really say this, there's a lot of copy paste buildings in Cyberpunk, which is a real big downside for me, is that I started realizing that a lot of these side missions, I was going to buildings that were identical from one another, and the missions inside of them were infect computer or kill NPC or collect item and then leave. And that's it. There's not much else to that.
Yeah, that is, I mean, those were big shoes to fill with The Witcher 3, in all honesty. But, yeah, that is kind of disappointing that the way they've hyped it up, that it's not delivering what, actual gamers are, what they want out of it. And then I've been hearing all of this stuff about people, being offered refunds. Like,
yeah.
Well, no, so there's a little bit to that. I don't know how much you've been tracking on that, but that's something that interested me, is that they were coming out encouraging it. So they're not offering refunds in any extra way. In fact, if you read what they said reach out to Microsoft or Sony and request a refund if you're not willing to wait for these bugs to get fixed out, which is like, hey, look, we totally get it. If you don't want to, we get it. We understand. And we encourage you to request a refund. But the thing that they're not saying come to us and we'll give you a refund. They're saying reach out to Microsoft or Sony and get a refund. And if they don't help you, then come to us and we'll help you out.
Of
or we'll absolutely. But they're not, it's not like they're saying, hey, come to us, we'll give you your money back. They're saying, hey, go through the proper channels if you want your money back. And I agree with that. That's exactly what I think they should say. But I don't want it to mix. Blue, you're not the only person to say something about refunds. But each person who said it, it sounds to me like they're making the assumption that CD Projekt Red is just going, yeah, let us know and we'll get you a refund. They're not. they're actually not even saying, "Hey, let us know." They're
so here's
saying,
my issue.
"Hey, go find out. Go try to get a
If
refund."
you ever called a developer or a vendor to do a refund on a video game, a lot of the times they'll sit there and say, "Well, you've had this amount of time played. We're not going to give you a refund because of it." And
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes, and Sony is very particular about their refund
you can
process.
Go and that's verified under the achievements on Steam. So if I went to Steam and said, "Hey, look, I'm trying to get a refund for this game. It's incredibly buggy," they're going to look and say, "Oh, you played this game for 26 hours. You've essentially exhausted the game's, I guess, longevity. Like, you're not going to give you a refund."
Yeah, you beat it, dude.
Yeah,
you got your fill of the game,
which is significantly better than what
that's what
we
they
used to
say.
get when they started doing disc games. I noticed this especially is that as soon as you open that disc box, good luck trying to get a refund from any store. So the fact that you could even broach that subject with Microsoft or Sony on a digital copy is, to me, it just sounds like they have better control on the pirating, but at the same time, it's like if you spend too much time on it, they're gonna be like, "Look, you've had enough fun with this thing, then sorry." Which I don't know if I would ever ask for a refund for a game.
Depends on the circumstance. In this situation, all the bugs were not significant enough to halt my game playthrough. So I could finish the game, but in a situation like Elder Scrolls Online, it was actually a halting to the entirety of the game. There was a point in time where you couldn't finish the rest of the game because of a break in the main story quest line. So in that sense, they should be able to refund it. But in that case as well, I tried to get a refund, and they said, "Well, no, because you played 15 hours, you can't play it. You can't get a refund on it."
Yeah, that sucks.
And I would agree that if it's a game breaking bug, i.e. you cannot progress because of it, you cannot complete the game, then yeah, I would definitely say a refund could be in order. Or, maybe not from, like, if you got it from Steam, maybe going out to the company and saying, "Hey, look, this is a game breaking bug. I cannot play. This is unacceptable. This is not what I paid for." If then they said, "Hey, go scratch," that would probably make me go, "Well, I guess that company's never getting my business again." But if you're able to complete the game, in my mind, that tells me that yes, it's buggy, but it wasn't buggy enough. Like you were able to finish it. Like
true.
That's
even if 20 or so quests were
yeah. I mean,
mute and other aspects of the game broke in the meantime as well, I was able to actually complete it. It did require dozens of restarts.
That is very disappointing, because with all of the delays that they put, I mean, it was 2 delays, right?
Well,
yeah,
so here's my thing: is
part
that
of the
I
year,
don't think people
and then a
really
second
look
one in
into
November,
how
I thought.
long the game's actually been in development. Because if someone's who's just seeing Cyberpunk in the last 3 years, they'll be like, "Oh, the game's been in development for 3 years," so they're just rushing out the door. But in actuality, the game's actually been in development for almost a decade. And in that sense, how's this game, as buggy as it is, for being in development for nearly a decade?
Yeah, because I don't even think it was 17 when we saw the first, video of this. Like a little, concept trailer or something.
So the first official announcement was back in, I think, March of 2012, where you got a single screenshot just in yellow with the text of Cyberpunk. And then later that year, you also got a video of the animated, cybernetic chick with the mantis blades.
Yeah.
And so that was 8 years ago. But during the March release of it, or announcement of it, they had said specifically that they were in development of it, which means it had gone even before that date and time as well. So it's at least, at minimum, 8 years old.
Yeah, and then to have all of these I mean, I get it. We've gone through console generations, but still, some of these bugs are. I mean, they sound pretty bad. Like the QC process of this is, it sounds like there's an oversight on this. They had a massive day one patch. I mean, I expect to see the.
Well, that makes me actually question and think about it. Because if you think that they've gone across 8 years ago, the PlayStation 3 was still out.
They so we actually had this a conversation with Damok, and unfortunately he's not here because he'd be the opposing argument to this entire conversation. I do believe they went through several engine upgrades during the longevity during the entire duration of that development.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it started with the Red Engine 1, and now it's on Red Engine 3 or 2 or whatever the new current engine is.
And Red Engine 1 would be the one that The Witcher was originally done on, the original Witcher. Yeah.
Well, so
that
Red
they
Engine
didn't use
1,
that.
I believe, does. That was so Red Engine 1 was the original iteration. Red Engine 2, I believe, allowed for support for consoles, and then Red Engine 3 is their newest engine. So it's not really 1, 2, and 3 in terms of full-blown engines. It's kind of like an adaptation to the older engines, I believe. I have to go look at the information again.
Well, I can quite comfortably say, in attempting to play the first Witcher game, that whatever that was based on, whatever engine that they were using, they should have never considered making the control scheme that way, because that game was painful to play. And I have played games from way back in the day that had some pretty bad controls. Run like hell! And I was still able to get through those games. The Witcher, though, the original Witcher, man, that's so painful. And I keep telling myself, I'm going to get back and I'm going to beat that game. And then I fire it up, and about 30 minutes later I go, nope, not happening today. Not today,
if they wanted to make some money off it, they could redesign the entirety of The Witcher 1 and 2 with The Witcher 3 engine. And the mechanics and combat and everything.
I would play them. In a heartbeat.
They need to definitely make it The Witcher 3 controls.
Yeah.
They need to do, like, I mean, at that point, it's a new game. Almost.
Yeah, I'd be down even if they did it like they gave you a streamlined version of it and they made it as a paid attachment to The Witcher 3. I'd be fine with that. Because it doesn't need to be like extravagant. It doesn't need to be on Witcher 3 scale. And to be perfectly honest, I read through the storyline of the original Witcher game, and there's not really a lot there that's going to scream out and be like, oh, I have to play through every little nuance of this. You could really just make that a $15 add-on.
True.
And say, hey, we're done. When you've already got all the audio and stuff recorded, so it's not like you really need to.
And like, it's not like the character models really changed too much from the older iteration. So it's a lot of importing from the Witcher 3 and just redesigning and implementing all the locations and buildings and whatnot with the older iterations. So you could.
Yeah. I mean, the world's the same, so you could probably reuse a significant amount of assets.
But we'll see. I imagine they'll do that eventually.
Man, I hope so, because I would definitely appreciate that.
Cecil, what have you been playing?
I'm actually, the only thing I've been playing is what I've actually been playing during the show, which is I'm currently playing No Man's Sky.
Nothing else?
That's it.
Not a single thing?
That's all I really played.
I don't remember playing a little bit of GTFO?
Oh, you know what? I did. That was a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? I think it was a couple of weeks ago. I did hang out with you guys and play some GTFO. That was fun. I guess I did play some Mortal Kombat 11 with my daughter, or for my daughter, not with, really. It was ended up being more of a me doing a whole bunch of friendships so that she could watch and laugh at them. But yeah, that's about it. I don't know. I don't really play all that much anymore. Been focusing on getting cloud certs and studying up for the first cert in AWS, which is the cloud practitioner. And then I'll be moving on to the next one up from that almost immediately. So yeah, I just don't really, don't really do much. I'm really boring.
It's okay, Cecil. I haven't had much time for games either. Pokemon Go.
I was going to say, what have you been playing,
literally,
big boy?
Got home last night. I worked my way through one of the quests where you have to go after the Team Rocket Go, or whatever the heck they want to refer to them as. I just call them Team fucking Rocket. And I beat all of them. Arlo, Cliff, and what was the woman's name? Nope. Can't remember her name, but beat her. And I got to take on Giovanni. And I lost to him in the first round. Figured out what he had. Went in. Did some mega evolutions and went back and kicked his ass. And ended up finally getting Mewtwo. So I now have all 151 of the original Pokemon. I'm pretty freaking excited about that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, that wasn't last night. That was the night before. It was my dad's birthday. Yeah.
And now you can swipe to level them all up, increase their power.
Yeah, the Mewtwo is not as powerful as I want him to be, but I can just walk with him and I'll get him to whatever I can, or if I end up having to get the chance to catch another one. Yeah, I haven't had much time for gaming. I renewed the Stadia account, so I'm gonna try to play that some more. But
well, hey, speaking of Stadia, did you see that Google has got a deal going on? If you buy Cyberpunk, you'll actually get a Chromecast Ultra with a Stadia controller.
I saw that. Problem is, I don't know if I can justify it. Like, yeah, I could put the money down for it, but the problem is if I did, I'm not going to play it that much. Like, that's the problem. Like, the time that I have for playing video games is dwindling. I got so much crap going on that I just don't have the time. And it's hard to justify to my wife to say, like, I get up, I'm out the door by like 7 something in the morning. I don't get home until like about 6. And then at the same time, I'm not, I'm going to go do something else.
I hear you. It is always entertaining to try to fit everything into a day. I just need I don't know. I need either a 6-hour work day or a 4-day work.
I'd like that.
One of the two. I mean, you'd think that, with everybody taking advantage of this work at home thing, that I'd somehow be able to manage it and work it out. But, God, I just get so much less work done when I work from home than when I'm at work. Like when I'm physically there. It just, I don't know. It's maddening. It's really, really frustrating.
Well, I can't say the same.
And, well, I mean, most of my work I could do literally without physically being there. If I could get the ILOs plugged in, there literally would be no reason for me to go into work except for to be there when somebody says, hey, we got to move this. Can you move it? Hey, you're tall. Can you grab this? Sure, I don't give a shit. Point me towards it. But yeah, just it's frustrating at times.
Yeah, I mean, when I had what was it? 4 9s and a 4 schedule for work at my last company. It was great because I'd come home in the afternoon and I'd have so much time to do whatever. Like I could do some chores and then I'd have the rest of the weekend free for whatever, or I'd play video games. And now it's just, I'm going to be honest, CrossFit cuts into my time, so I don't have time for video games, and it's really kind of sad.
Yeah, it's hard to maintain the body. Like, you just want to let it go.
I don't want to, so it's just finding time, and it's, making sure that it's like, they call it the work-life balance. I'm going to call it the work, fitness, life, gaming balance that I have to juggle. So it's like my work, my life with my friends or my wife, my family, and then also, my fitness, and then the gaming. And usually the gaming falls off.
Yeah, and as you get older, like that whole fitness thing only gets worse.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't get to spend less time doing it. You end up having to spend more time doing
work
it.
Now, I am fitter than I was in my 20s. So.
Yeah, look at those arms.
Exactly.
Thank you, honey.
They
Exactly.
barely fit
See,
in his shirt.
that's what I say every single time. Yeah, like he's literally sitting there bulging out of there. I've had to adjust my pants twice.
Hold up, you're wearing pants? What is wrong?
No, it's and would you
I'm not
believe
rating.
this? My cholesterol is high.
Oof.
Yeah,
so
I would believe that.
I look like this,
I
but
would
I have
believe
a high cholesterol.
You just gotta take my diet and just don't eat.
Yeah, if I don't eat, then I ain't gonna be able to do anything, and I get really, really angry.
But once you get used to it, you're good.
Actually, I can agree with that because I don't really eat anymore either. And I mean, after you get the first angry phase gone, it's like,
Exactly.
My wife was just in here. She was like trying to convince me to foster a cat.
oh yeah, get a cat. That's
Well,
a
we already
great
have
idea.
one. The thing is that I'm pretty sure we're not allowed to have another one. And my cousin, who lives like 3.5 hours south of us, she does the books at a a humane society, and she likes to post all the videos and photos of the kitties. And my wife has a hard time saying no.
I don't think that's a your wife limited thing. I'm pretty confident that's like everyone's
Whatever
wife.
you do.
Except for those wives that don't like cats and they're like, no, you have to get a dog. And they're like,
Oh, we want a dog. The problem is that we can't have a dog that we want here. We can have like a little one you can fit inside of a purse, which I don't like those dogs. And plus, if we had to move out of here because they decided to sell this place, then I got to go through the wonderful process of finding a place that will accept an animal and not charge me an arm and a leg every month for it. So, waiting until we have a house. Own a house.
good call.
Whatever you do.
Well, that'll be like 30 years from
Exactly.
now. Well, actually, no. You're an engineer. You'll probably get it paid off in like
Just
29.
don't bring up the getting or fostering a cat with Daymok. You might get another one.
Yeah. Don't say it to Daymok. You know, he's like, there's a cat that needs my help, and he'll jump up, and it's amazing. He'll put his arms on his sides like this. A cape will just magically appear behind him, and he'll be wearing this weird mask with this AC on it. And you would think that it'd be like something for electricity. No, it's adopt cats.
You get another one? Besides Odin?
It probably has. He's probably gotten another one since we've started this show.
He posted a picture. I thought he was at PetSmart getting another cat just now. Oh, like, oh no.
Nice.
No, wait a minute. Isn't that Flight List? Doesn't she volunteer there?
Was that Flight List who posted that?
I think that he brings her there so that she can volunteer.
I do know that his girlfriend was like, yeah, what do you think about getting another cat? And he's like, no, please, we can't have any more cats. Don't do this to me.
Well, I mean, you can have more cats. I mean, there's always room. There's always room for more cats. To ask the cat lady who's got like 432 cats. There's always room for more cats.
He has become the crazy cat lady.
Yeah. Oh, we got to start sending him pictures of the crazy cat lady from The Simpsons, and just send him pictures of that, just over and over. We can just do that now. Yeah, we could troll him like that. It'd be like, Damon, found your picture of you in 10 years.
So, have you guys heard of or what are they going by? It's a podcast on YouTube, and let's see if I can't pull it up. But I think they've taken our name.
Our name? Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah, but it's like I think it's like I can't remember their names.
Are they the French ones?
They don't sound French.
Because there was a French podcast that was like G.N.A, and I'm like,
yeah, here we go.
What is this? I started listening to them. I'm like, huh.
G.N.A, episode 1, Weed Stuff. I think they're essentially, it's like the name of one cast member, and then the end is just like the and it's the other cast member. But yeah, it's another G.N.A podcast. They're not as cool as G.N.A podcasts.
Well, I mean, there's only one real G.N.A podcast, but I mean, we're not so arrogant that we can't share the name.
No, we're not.
Hold on, you cease and desist unless they give us alcohol.
Could do that. I mean, I do have an actual business. If they're out of Virginia.
Oh no.
Oh, it's the limits of your of the copyright.
Well, I mean, I do have a business and everything for it, so I could. Well, no, because I don't think I actually have the name copyrighted. Or did I actually get it? I think I actually might have gotten the name copyrighted when I did the business. Because I think I did the business and then I got the name copyrighted.
Yeah, I thought you said you'd done that. Either that or trademark.
I might have actually done that. Nah, if they start making money, I'll cease and desist.
Well, just to give you some stats, they have a little more than half of our subscribers with 4 videos, and we have 197 videos. And not that many subscribers. But I'm going off of YouTube. I have no idea how many subscribers we've got on whatchamacallit, iTunes.
Wait, we have subscribers on iTunes?
I'm assuming we do. We get downloads.
iTunes has subscribers?
Oh.
You mentioned numbers when I asked last week.
Oh. I thought you were just like, hey, what are numbers? I'm like, those are things that you count with and shit.
Yeah, I'm an engineer, Cecil. I'm not asking you about what numbers are. I'm asking you what our numbers are.
Oh, well, I just gave you some numbers.
Yeah.
Like, it could be our numbers.
Nice graphs and charts and tables. Very good, sir.
Just send them all the charts and tables. They don't have any relevance. Just send them charts and tables. Do you want them animated? We can work that out for you.
I mean, that would entertain me, certainly.
I could make a flow chart. I'm fucking boss at making a flow chart.
Very good. Make me a flow chart next time.
So I actually got to express my pleasure in this game, No Man's Sky, because they've added a little horror element to this. It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward, but it's kind of nice. It's a nice little deviation from what you normally are doing in the game. So they have these derelict freighters, which I was trying to figure out what the hell they were for, or what you do with them. It's really just another avenue to, just like everything else in the game, it's just another avenue to make credits or unlock new technology. But it's kind of cool. Like, each ship that's just kind of floating out there has had something happen to it, and they got infected. And now there's, like, literally these egg sac looking things. Not quite egg sac like aliens egg sacs.
So they have the flood from Halo in No Man's Sky.
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of look like the little flood things. I was actually going to go with Half-Life. I thought they looked more like the Half-Life, crabs. Yeah, the crabs there. They're face huggers, or are they crabs? What the hell are they?
I guess both. They do both. So
yeah, well, those guys. But yeah, it's interesting how and like some of the ships are. It's so like when you get to a ship, you've got to almost. So there's no atmosphere inside, so of course your life support's going down, but it's also freezing inside, which that's the only thing that doesn't make sense to me. Because if you're in space, there actually is no temperature. It's not cold or hot. There's no particles, so there's no friction. Nothing to make it cold. Which ironically, if you remember I don't know if anybody was listening to our Dead Space episodes forever ago, but that was one of the things that, remarked about on Dead Space was that, oh crap, they got that right. Because in Dead Space, you go down into the planet, and the planet has got a subarctic temperature. And when you land on there with your space suit that you've just been roaming around space with, and you've been perfectly fine, but you roam around this planet, and all of a sudden you start freezing to death. And I literally, I got into a conversation, I think it was with Shinzu about this, and I think it was actually with This's article too. And it might have been This's article who actually turned me onto it and was like, oh, no shit, yeah, duh. But there's no particles in space. So it's not hot nor cold because it's a vacuum. And what do you need to feel cold? You need something to be able to pull the heat away from you, aka friction, aka particles, which there are none of in space. I was like, huh. Like, yeah, so spacesuits aren't necessarily warm per se. They have heaters in them.
I thought particles was I thought friction was the thing that would create heat. Well, it actually is the thing that creates heat. But if the lack thereof, wouldn't you lose body temperature or temperature in general over time?
Well, no, but if you think about it, the thing that actually removes the heat from you is the air particles touching your skin, absorbing the heat, and then moving on.
Fair enough. I am not a major in physics, so I don't know.
Neither am I. But when I looked it up, it was actually like legit. And I was like, holy shit. Like that's, and then when I thought about it, the more and more I thought about it, I was like, damn, that makes a ton of sense. You know, that actually like makes sense.
Huh.
So that's the one thing that was bugging me, was that you're in these derelict freighters, but you're freezing to death. Like your temperature gauge is going down. So you've got to go to these little like stationary heaters, turn them on and stand next to them to stay warm. And I was thinking to myself, well, wait a second. This door literally was blasted open. It's open completely to space. It didn't vent anything when I got in here. And it even says multiple hull breaches on a bunch of the logs that you find. So it's like, why am I cold? But then I just said, it's a game. What do I care?
So now I have to really look in this further because there's conflicting articles about both, about you freezing in space or you not freezing in space. So I have to look at this information more to see who's right or if they're both right or wrong. I guess it could be relative to what kind of mass of an object or heat source that you are. You know,
I'm assuming that there's a lot of different conditions.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
I mean, the argument is that, and thermodynamics agrees with it, is that for you to lose heat, i.e. get cold, there would have to be something to remove the heat from you, aka there have to be, and the only way for you to lose heat or for heat to be taken from you would be some sort of particle to have friction against you and remove the heat from you. And I went, well, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And then they said, hey, if you're in a vacuum, there's no particles.
It's fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also true. I mean, I'm guessing that there would have to be particles around you. So like you have moisture, right? So you sweat, your skin is oily. There's moisture around you. So if your skin was exposed directly to the vacuum of space, I would assume that the vacuum would remove that moisture and with it, the heat that would be there, and it would feel cold. But it makes sense of why, like if you were wearing a spacesuit, like a spacesuit wouldn't be warm in an Arctic environment because it's just meant to keep the vacuum of space out. It's not meant to keep you warm. Which also would explain why when you watch all those movies, all their spacesuits are like super thin. They're not like big bulky things like we see it astronauts in space with. They're insanely thin, which logically would just be used to keep out the vacuum of space.
Well, see, now I have an article. So now I have an article that says that you'll eventually freeze solid in about 12 to 26 hours. So I'll have to look further into it because it's weird.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah,
like it's a noodle scratcher. It makes you really want to think.
I would have thought you would have frozen. I'm not going to say instantaneously freeze the moment you jump out into space, because obviously astronauts have done that many times to fix the space station and shuttles and whatnot, but or satellites even. But I don't know. That's weird. I'm not a physicist again, so even if I come to a conclusion by reading articles, are those articles' writers misinformed?
Well, and that's the thing, is that you got to make, I guess the only thing you can really do is educate yourself as best as you can and then be open-minded to opposite opinions on it. Because, I mean, unless you physically go into space, I guess.
Let's just call up the NASA astronauts and ask them real quick, hey, if you guys sit outside for an extended period of time, will you all lose body temperature and eventually freeze?
Yeah, like, hey, go outside and take your pants off. Yeah. Is it cold? Did they suck up into you like scared turtle style, or are they still kind of freely hanging there, all floating dangly wise?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they don't have to do it with themselves. They could do it with an apple or meat or something.
Well, yeah, but where's the fun in that? I mean, come on, let's go Kerbal Space Program 100% here.
When is Kerbal Space Program 2 coming out?
I don't know, but it's got multiplayer, and that actually might make me play it. Like, that might be a game that I want to sit down and play. I don't know, but I'm interested.
It's very simple. We're gonna launch, and then someone's going to open the airlock, and we're all going to die.
I mean, that's how it's gonna work.
But that's just going to happen, yeah.
Technically, yes.
And but the real question is, who's going to be the one standing at the airlock? Is it going to be Cecil with the maniacal grin? Is it going to be Zyber with the very flat face like there's nothing wrong? Is it going to be Ko, not actually standing by the airlock, but has convinced somebody else to stand by the airlock?
No, Ko's going to be shooting someone in the face with a laser gun.
True. If you give me a gun, people are dying.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Please don't do that out of context.
Oh, God, yeah. Now I'm just going to take that little clip and I'm going to start putting it everywhere. Oh, boy.
Very bad quote.
Planned release date 2022. So we are not seeing Kerbal Space Program anytime soon.
Wow, we've heard that like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to actually release the end of this year, but it looks like I was way wrong.
Well, unfortunately, in 2 years, more content for Black Desert's coming out, and we're getting a whole new continent to the game. So you guys won't see me ever again.
Good news, we don't have to worry about Ko convincing somebody else to open up the airlock or shooting anybody in the face with a laser beam.
Best news I've heard all day.
Well, gentlemen, on that note, I am running out of time because my daughter is going to be waiting for me at dance class. And if I don't get things moving soon, she's going to be waiting there a long time. So, Co, where could people find you at?
They can find me exclusively on the G.N.A podcast Discord.
And in Kerbal Space Program to shoot people in the face with lasers.
Yes, or Warzone. You might run across me there as the Battle Squid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and if you do, just lay your gun down, get down on your hands and knees, and prepare to die.
Yes, feed my KDR.
What about you, Blueshark? Where can people find you at?
Well, you can find me on the interwebs, Twitter at Blueshark45. You can also find me on Parler at Blueshark45, and you can find me on the G.N.A Discord as Blueshark45 and a few other random locations that I don't always tell you on every single episode, but I mention in other episodes. If you listen to other episodes, you can find me in other locations. But I'm going to leave it a mystery for right now.
It's magic. I'm actually watching the trailer for Kerbal Space Program 2, and I'm really disappointed that this is not coming out sooner. Anywho, I am Cecil Xavier, your host. You can find me on Cecil vs. Games on Twitter, Cecil Xavier everywhere else, Facebook, Ustream, Twitch. I'm actually on Parler now as Cecil Xavier. You can find me trolling the G.N.A Discord, Lynchers Discord, TPC's Discord, which we got to reach out to those TPC folks. They haven't done a podcast in a while. We should see if they want to join us for some shenanigans. So we hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or your favorite podcast app. Reviews help people find the show. So if you enjoy listening, let other people know. There is a person out there that they are happening to be listening right now. I just want to say, hey, Fred, thanks for the cool time down at Adventures there in Florida when we went and hung out. It was a good time. Very funny seeing you. Didn't know you were afraid of heights as much as you were. We do a game show night every first Saturday of the month. The past few, to be perfectly honest, have had very little attendance and have ended fairly early. So hopefully next one around we'll have a little bit more attendance and get some free games given out there. However, I'm going to burst your bubble now. I've already bought Cyberpunk 2077 8 times and I have yet to own it myself. So I'm not going to be buying that for you. You're just going to have to get one of the Humble Bundle games that I've got out of my 800 Humble Bundle codes that's waiting. We're partnered with Humble Bundle. Hey, Co, do you remember anything about Humble Bundle?
No. my cheat script.
So, Humble Bundle is a game purchasing website where you can help support the G.N.A podcast by using question mark partner equals G.N.A podcast at the end of any Humble Bundle link that you find. You find a link for a free game from Humble Bundle, just go ahead and put that question mark partner equals G.N.A podcast so you can let them know that we sent you our way. And the wonderful thing about Humble Bundle is you can determine how much money you want to give to a publisher, developer. You can give money to charity. You can give $0 to us and give it all to charity, which we highly encourage. But you can do that all under our wonderful sponsor, Humble Bundle. Humble Bundle, where you can tell them G.N.A exists.
Thank you, Blueshark.
I found it.
We do a horror movie night, but this month's December's was canceled. Some things going on. We hope that we're going to get that back up and running come the new year. Somebody has actually requested an anime to be watched, so I might resurrect anime night. I don't know what day I'll throw it on, but maybe just get it going for just that one anime, get everybody together and throw it on some Cast GG again. Not 100% sure.
You know, I had a buddy recommend another anime just the other day that we could possibly look into as well.
Yeah, anime night was really fun. I might, now that I've graduated, I have a little more time on my hands. I might fire up anime night, get that going again, do a couple episodes a night. You know, not like what Blue was doing there, which was completely hard to chase down, doing 6 and 7 episodes in a night. Jesus Christ.
I'm efficient, what can I say?
But yeah, maybe we'll fire that back up. I don't know. Maybe we'll throw it out there on Twitter and Facebook and whatnot and see who wants to join in and see who'd be interested. We also have a website at www.gnapodcast.com where we post we have pictures up there. We've got the podcast feed, which I think I have to update. I don't think I've updated in a couple of episodes. But last night's episode was kind of a fly by the seat of my pants. Didn't know it was actually going to work. Edit, so sorry.
I find your lack of updates disturbing.
I didn't go disappointing.
It's not disappointing, it's disturbing. Gosh, Star Wars reference. Get it right, kids.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. And have a great night.
Good night, everybody.
You too.